Please stand up. Please
Put your hand over my mouth.
allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Okay, welcome everybody. You've got a
Thank you.
very short agenda. A lot of these, looks like a lot of these are, I think we'll be able to get through them expeditiously. What I'd like to do is go over the minutes, approval for the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make a motion, Mike.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve minutes.
Do a roll call yet?
Just roll call?
Yeah.
Or,
Probably should establish a quorum, yeah.
Brickner,
yes?
Young,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Bozak, Vasquez,
Yes.
Here.
Okay, motion approved. First reading.
You just did.
Been looking forward to this, I'm sure.
Oh, I don't know.
The following items have been brought to you for your consideration. General fund, a negative salaries, $92,848. Accident report fund, per diem, $6,365. Software, $4,750. Dues and subscriptions, $12,460. Clerk perpetuation fund, salaries, $24,808. Cume Bridge, hourly, $14,794. CCD, motor vehicles, $220,000. Drug-Free Communities Fund, distributions, $170,000. Local Public Health Fund, salaries, $230,350. Hourly, $58,240. FICA, $17,622. Medical life insurance, $78,204. PERF, $25,799. Medical services, $12,500. Uniforms and clothing, $2,000. Other supplies, $15,000. Medical and dental supplies, $120,000. Shop supplies, $5,000. Legal, $25,000. Travel, $10,000. Phone and internet, $6,600. Postage, $5,000. Printing, $7,000. Advertising, $25,000. Maintenance agreements, $75,000. Vehicle repairs, $2,500. Other rentals, $5,000. Contractual sub, $500. Office equipment over $100, $5,000. Furniture over $100, $28,900. Data processing equipment, $15,000. Distributions, $790,550. Highway fund, hourly full-time, $150,000. FICA, $23,866. Medical life insurance, $208,292. PERF, $34,970. Auditor plat map fund, salaries, $52,193. FICA PERF, $1,608. Medical life insurance, $29,326.50. Recorder's perpetuation fund, $54,646. Rebinding, $500,000. Tax sale fees, contractual services, $50,000. Opioid restricted fund, salary, $60,000. FICA, $4,590. Medical life insurance, $19,551. PERF, $10,720. Auditor and eligible homestead fund, salaries, $21,050. Federal forfeiture fund, office supplies, $20,000. Legal, $20,000. Juvenile probation user fees fund, salaries, $9,285. Adult probation user fees, a decrease of $26,405. PCA DRF fund, salaries, $9,090.
Sheriff user fees, per diem, $9,785, software, $2,747, salaries, $17,507, Expo Center, salaries, $8,024, Expo Center Capital, buildings and structures, $175,000, animal shelter fees, salaries, $694, garage fund, buildings and structures, $32,600, animal shelter donation, salaries, $58,656. Vet services, $50,000. Sheriff donation, meal and lodgings, $2,000. Canine, $20,000. Go Bond Series 2024 principal, $2,011,814. Monsanto Settlement Fund contractual, $1,000,000 $5,374. Public safety data tech, lease payments, $72,070. Videotape fee, training and education, $4,000. Photo duplicate fund, training and education, $3,800. Inmate processing fee, per diem, $4,000. Uniform and clothing, $35,000. JDC codes, salaries, negative $15,952. Perf, $626. Foundation budget, medical life insurance, $1,824,300. Contractual, $486,932. Boards, $1,940. Forfeiture pass-through fund, distributions, $10,000. Coroner fatality review, equipment other than vehicles, $1,100. Domestic violence fund, salaries, $3,719. STOP grant, salaries, $9,999. Bioterrorism grant, contractual, $44,568. Workforce co-op grant, contractual, $70,681. Tobacco grant, hourly, $24,484. FICA, $1,975. Court interpreter grant, interpreter, $14,200. Adult probation, community corrections, salaries, reduction of $3,390. FICA, $298. PERF, $437. Jail community corrections pretrial, salaries, $661. FICA, $51. Medical life insurance, $12,104. PERF, $5,538. LR&B match grant, bituminous, $2,100,000. Recycling and waste, office equipment over $100, $13,000. First reading.
Thank you for the first reading. Anybody have any comments or questions, or would like it reread? All good?
Best joke of the night.
Huh? Oh, thank you very much for that. Do we make a motion for the approval of the first reading? No? Okay, let's accept that. Thank you again. That's a mouthful. Next on the agenda, we have a special presentation, and from Executive Director of NERC, Mr. Ty Warner, Attorney David Hollenbeck.
Sitting there, it did bring back memories of long list. As most of you know, I'm Dave Hollenbeck, and other things, I'm the attorney for Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission, and I'm here this evening with Ty Warner, the Executive Director of the agency, to have a few moments, I know, of your busy time to discuss an issue that is near and dear to those of us in Northwest Indiana who understand how federal funding and highway monies are distributed through MPOs and councils of government. And my contribution is simply to say that we are making the rounds in LaPorte, Lake, and Porter counties in hopes of getting a discussion going about the local commitment to that agency, because we're at the point in time now when it's beginning to impede our ability to function, to bring federal grant money back to Northwest Indiana. So with that in mind, I'll turn it over to Ty, and he can tell you the particulars.
Great, thank you so much. Again, I'm Ty Warner. I'm Executive Director with the Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission, or NERC. Thanks for the time tonight and for the consideration of this, and thank you for not only putting me at the front of the agenda, which is much appreciated, but that I didn't have to do that first reading. I felt your pain over there. So I'll try to keep this brief and succinct. For those of you that aren't familiar with NERC, actually, if you want to pass that out, that's great.
Look like I'm doing something here.
And for those sitting behind me that don't know, what I found particularly, I think we've been aware of this, but particularly in this process of needing to go to the counties, is to realize that NERC is active in a lot of things in Northwest Indiana and has helped fund a lot of things in Northwest Indiana. But unless you're involved in that process, you may not know what it's about and what it does. So let me give a really brief capsule summary, not only for you, but also for those sitting behind me that may not know what it is. NERPC is a public agency. I'd like to say we are a unit of government, but we are not a level of government. It's like the glue that brings the governments of Northwest Indiana together. It's founded in state statute. We are not an agency of the state, but our operating principles, how the board is made up, how we're funded, that is all within state statute. So that's actually the issue that is before you today, is a change needed within that state statute. The board is made up of 53, count them, 53 elected officials in Northwest Indiana across Lake Porter and LaPorte counties. So every community in those 3 counties and the counties themselves send a representative to NERPC and appoint someone to represent NERPC on the NERPC board. Mr. Stone was our representative last year, and Mr. Vasquez is our representative this year from the Porter County Council. So that is the structure of NERPC, but now what is causing us to come here today, as Dave alluded to, is NERPC has a very important designation for Northwest Indiana, which is a federal designation of the Metropolitan Planning Organization. That is from federal transportation law, and that means what happens is after you get to a certain population, this is anywhere in the United States, you need to designate a Metropolitan Planning Organization to receive federal funds that are allocated to that MPO, and then those in turn are decided what they are put towards which projects by the people on the board, which are made up of elected officials. So in the case of NERPC, we receive an allocation. It comes via Indiana Department of Transportation, but it's federal money. And those elected officials decide how those monies are going to be spent for what projects. Those get put into a 4-year transportation improvement program, which in the case of Porter County is over $350 million of projects over the next 4 years. And I've included that project list in the back of your packet if you're interested in what's there. For those of you that are here also that are just interested, you can go to nirpc.org, nirpc.org, and the Transportation Improvement Program is all there. This is all very public. It's a very public process for allocating those funds. So as the MPO, we receive some federal money to operate as the MPO, to administer that $350 million of projects in this TIP. And what happens with the money that we receive, just like any other grant that Porter County or anyone else receives, we have to match 20% in order to get 80% in federal funds to do that operation. And to be clear, we do a host of things, but specifically for that $350 million project list. That's not just moving numbers around for those projects. That's the entire screening process of how to fit the projects that this region wants to do within that budget. And that's also doing a lot of background work that we're required to do as the MPO so that you can have access to that $350 million. Some of that is modeling to traffic projections. You use our counts and projections, as does everybody else. And things like our air quality conformity that we have to do. We're a non-attainment region for pollution standards, and so we have a host of other things that the federal government makes us do. All that to say that that requires money to be able to do that work, and we match that money for additional federal money. In that state statute that I mentioned, it was set back in 1992 to allocate 70 cents per capita, or 70 cents per person, from each of the 3 counties that would make up that local source of funding that we then use to match federal funding. That 70 cents has not changed since 1992. So here we are in 2024. That 70 cents from then is worth about 30 cents today. So NERPC's budget, and there's a chart of the value of that within this packet that you've already received. NERPC's allocation, the value of that has continued to decrease over that time period, over 30 years. So if you calculate the value of that today, that's worth about $1.54. But what has happened is the NERPC Commission, in recognizing that we needed to still be able to sustain our budget, and it was getting harder and harder to do that with the decreased value of the 70 cents per capita, adopted a resolution, which you have a copy of, Resolution 2316, which asks the state legislature to change our state statute so that that 70 cents per capita gets adjusted to the current dollar value or as we said, at $1.50, just because it's an easier number than the $1.54. So that was taken up and introduced as House Bill 1251 in this legislative session, which Representative Hal Slager put forward. But as Hal is introducing that, he had asked that to make sure that the counties were aware of this change and acceptable of this change, since it comes out of the county's budget for that appropriation. So that is what brings us before you, and why we have gone to LaPorte County, who unanimously supported this request, and then we're working with Lake County as well to be on their agenda and should be on a work study session next week. So I hope that's clear enough. I know it gets a little complicated, but that's what brings us. And I think the thing I'd like to just stress with this local appropriation funding is it accesses additional federal funds. So again, 20% to 80%. There is literally money that we should be able to have as an MPO that is available to us from the federal government that we cannot access because we're capped by that 70 cents per capita. We're literally leaving federal money on the table that could be coming to help do additional plans and studies for the region. And the other thing to highlight with that money, that is used not only for the operation of the MPO itself, but that is what we use to access other federal grants that require a local match. So we have various environmental grants that we do for things like watershed study. We did a greenhouse gas inventory recently. That's been hugely helpful for folks across Northwest Indiana. We have a new designation as an economic development district, which makes this region eligible for economic development grants that it wasn't previously eligible for. So there's a host of things that this money does. It's not just sitting in some kind of pot. It's used and accessed to bring services back to the region. Can't stress enough, especially for those who may not be familiar with NERPC, we are a totally public agency. This is not about anything to sell or anything that anybody profits off of. This is only about bringing services back to Northwest Indiana and what we can do as a regional agency to help get you better projects. And as I think I mentioned to someone the other day, honestly, it's not a comfortable situation when you're talking about funding. I recognize that. I would much rather just focus on getting you good projects and just get to work doing that. But because of the situation and where we are with this budget, that's what brings us before you. And that's why we're asking for your support of this adjustment as we go forward.
Questions?
I was going to say thank you very much for that. Just kind of preface, looking at the projects and, being a lifelong county resident myself, NERPC has provided a valuable tool, I think, and done some wonderful things, not just for the county, but for the region. So we appreciate the investment that's been going back into Porter County and surrounding counties. So I don't know if the council, any of the council members, and I think what you're asking for is a resolution of a continued support for NERPC.
For this adjustment in the local appropriation.
So did that,
Correct.
did it get pulled from, is Hal's bill still there? I mean,
That's a great question. So because of the timing of this and when he asked to get county support, I thought this was going to be really tight. So I think, as I mentioned to somebody the other day, I wish we weren't in a relatively rushed situation, but it's a short session. He asked to have county support of this resolution that NERPC took that's now in a House bill. So we're past the point where that bill continues on, and there are some of you here that have dealt with legislature much more than I have. So the hope now, as we go on to Lake County and hopefully secure their support as well, is to have that amended to an existing bill that's currently originating from the Senate this session. And that is the hope. So we will take the results of these three counties and hope for the best this session.
The one thing, too, I wanted to add is the V-Line, the Dash, Council of Aging buses, Opportunity Enterprises buses, the double track. You've all been a part of that as well. So
Absolutely.
It's beyond just roads and trails.
Thank you for clarifying. I was
Yeah.
just thinking that I probably should say that, especially for those that don't know what NERPC is. Anything related to surface transportation as the MPO we fund. So if it involves federal funding, it comes through NERC and from that group of elected officials. So it's not just roads, it's trails, the Marquette Greenway, a lot of you have heard about, from Chicago to New Buffalo, Michigan. That's funded by a project that NERC received and is planning. As you said, the buses, all the buses that receive federal public transit funding, with a couple of exceptions like Gary Public Transportation Corporation. The buses are technically owned by NERC. If you look at the V line or the dash, you'll see a little tag on there that says this vehicle owned by the Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. We don't operate transit, but we fund it and provide the buses. So that's absolutely right. It's trails, transit, and roads as well.
I have a couple of questions and concerns. First of all, NERC is great, provides jobs all in the county, and that's a wonderful thing for our constituent. But a couple of concerns I have. So the bill that, from what I hear you're saying, it's not completed. We don't know for sure what the final bill is going to look like.
Well, we have and it's in your packet, the actual House Bill 1251, which is reflective of what the NERC Commission actually asked for with resolution on the front of the packet. So that's clear. It's just a matter of how it gets through the legislature at this point.
Is there a cost of living increase in that, a yearly increase?
So thank you for asking that. So there's really just two things that the legislation does for our statute, just two things. It right sizes that 70 cents per capita to current value, that's one. And then it asks to index that to consumer price index or your growth quotient, which I don't pretend to understand exactly how the growth quotient is calculated, but either of those things and the greater of those is then what it will adjust from then after, with the idea being that we're not asking to do above what was set in 92, we're just asking to adjust that to inflation and then hopefully never have to come back again and ask for any change after that. So that could rise, that could lower, depending on what the economy is doing at that particular time. So that's the idea.
Living lowering.
Yeah, you never know, but right.
I was under the impression this was going to get tabled tonight. If you're asking for our support, I have a lot of questions. So if it's going to get tabled.
Is it going to
talk
get
about-
tabled?
It's up. Well, no, I thought it was going to get
okay,
tabled. I have a lot of questions to add.
One of the things that I was going to bring about, and Ty and I had talked about on the phone, and I had talked with some of you, is that taking an 80-cent hit right in the face is not acceptable by anyone on here, on this board.
Yeah.
Okay? And one of the things we had kicked around was to amend this bill, see if House Slager would amend it so that it would take a 5-year period by which to bring it up to snuff. Basically, if you did that, you're looking at roughly 18 cents a year. And that's including at the end of year 5, if you were to factor in a 3% inflation cost of living, it would bring you to about almost a nickel every year, basically, with the inflation factor, so that when you're done at the end of year 5 would be $1.60 at that point, okay? So at $1.50 in 5 years from now, $1.60 is not unrealistic. But it's better taking it over a 5-year period if he can amend his bill, okay? That's one very important part. I think we all agree that we're not going to get hit with 80 cents right off the bat, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, please say so. The other thing is that at the 6th year, one of the things that concerns majority of the body on here is that it takes away the ability to say how much and when this money is going out away from the counties that are involved and gives that to the state. Well, some of the things we'd like to see is how, with the wording, so that we, the 3 counties who are involved, have the say-so on how we do from here on. If it stays with the cost of living adjustment only, which is something we will have to talk about, but I think initially that we have got to do something in regards to passing this bill with the understanding that the counties are the ultimate final say-so as to what's going to happen here. Good example is if I came to your house and said, you can't watch whatever channel you're watching now, you got to watch what I tell you. Wouldn't make you happy. So, that's basically the same type of deal.
One of my concerns, and I've had experience with it, is with the RDA. Once you leave it up to the legislators to write the bill, it's in their hands. You have no choice of what they're doing. and just too many, in my opinion, it's too much of a risk. I would rather, like Andy said, I would like to have it where the county decides, yes, you need a rate, you need more money. That's pretty evident. But why be so firm? Why not give the counties an opportunity to say what you do need? That's one of my concerns. Another one, this will be a tax, and either way you look at it, we're going to be paying more money. But it does a lot of good, and I will say that. I know that. But I don't like the idea that we're being asked to sign on to a resolution that we don't know what the end result is. We have no idea what that end bill will be written. It might be something we like, it might be something we don't like at all, but it'll be too late to reverse it. And that's why I probably will not be signing that resolution, and I will be saying no to whatever at this point in time.
Thank you. If I could just respond, just the resolution that's on the front of the packet that the NERC Commission actually approved, I don't have, it's a public body that has enacted this, so I don't have the authority to change what the commission has asked the legislature to do. What you see is basically what you get. So
I mean, we can pass it and send it with, you know, stipulations on what we believe, what we would like to see, or our support disappears, you know. And I think I would support with, you know, Andy over there, that if this is spread out over 5 years, you know, with the inflation, I mean, we're talking, I was just trying to do quick math, like $32,000 a year over the 5 years with the inflation. And that's just, listen, we have maintenance agreements that go up every year. We have all contracts and all these departments that go up, dues and subscriptions, the cost of doing business. I mean, we go to a budget session that everybody's in front of us telling us the cost is going up. This is not reaching out to the taxpayers and grabbing anything additional. We would just have to find that within our current revenue over the next couple of years. But we get new money every year too. So I would support it. You know, as long as we send a message down there saying that this increase has to be spread out over 5 years, and if that's not the case, then, you know, our support drops of it. But I also like the fact that, I mean, if you don't come in front of us every once in a while, we don't know what you're doing, and we can't ask you questions, and we can't learn. So, you know, for this to be permanently, you know, in there, I'm not sure I agree with that either. Is maybe at the end of 5 years,
That's why I said
got to come
year
back
six.
for it again.
Year 6, it gets.
Year 6, we can look at it again.
Again, Jeremy, like I said, I support NERC. I think you're doing great things, but, you know, I look at, we have department heads out here that if they came to us and wanted their budget doubled, we'd be asking who, what, where, when, and why. And like I said, I don't have the who, what, where, when, and why that I need the answers to support that current resolution. So if I get them, and like I said, I like it being spread out over 5 years, because it would be a $150,000 hit right off the bat.
Well, but also, to be fair, our departments don't wait 30 years to come for more money either. It's 30 years.
yeah.
So that's,
Yeah, but this was on January 7th when I was sitting at the meeting, and we agreed, so it gave us a month to really talk about this. So that's why I'm,
December 7th, yeah.
you know, like I said, if your budget's $5 million a year, or $4 million a year, and between Lake, Porter, and LaPorte counties, we give you about $500,000, the rest of your money is federal, correct? If we've been giving you the same amount of money for the last 10 years, then the feds must have been giving you more money, or, right?
No, because we haven't been able to access anything more than what
But
we've
then
had with the
staff went
share. So we struggled. So like this last round, we decreased the overall budget for salary. We hired staff. They're great staff, so I don't want to say anything
I believe you,
staff, but we had to hire
one of the things
staff with less.
you had mentioned at one of the meetings, that it was a possibility, not that you were going to, of staff reduction because you just don't have the money.
I don't want to make staff nervous, but we're getting to the point of we have to start
Right.
looking at the range of things that we have and how to accommodate what we're required to do by the federal government versus what we have to do it with.
Well, the thing with 5 years, it helps us try to prepare down the road. So once again, the 80 cents is too much, but 5 years gives us some time to see where we can find money elsewhere. And I think that, and like I said, keeping it within our hands to see what's going to go down the road would make everyone feel a lot more comfortable, as opposed to saying the state says you must do this. So if Mr. Slager can maybe amend his bill in that manner, I leave it up to the board here to think about that as a possibility.
Well, I would make a motion to support Resolution 2316 from NERC if, you know, an attachment from us, this council, that states that our support only stands as if they amend it to spread this over 5 years, that increase, you know, with the inflation, and that this has to be revisited in 5 years to regain our support. I just don't think forever, you know, an inflationary thing, and we're never seeing you again and questioning you again. This gives us an opportunity. A lot of us have talked to you. So, you know, forever is a long time. 4 years is a long time. So I'll make that motion to approve this resolution if the bill's amended to spread this over 5 years, and that cuts off at in the 5 years, and this has to be revisited.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And
But we have no control over that. I mean,
That's
you guys gotta understand this.
Well-
I just,
We have no control if we don't do anything either.
that we can send anything, but if they downstate, pass this like this, there's nothing we can do unless,
Why are we giving a resolution?
well,
Why are we giving a resolution? If the legislature can do what they want, why are they asking us for support?
Because the legislator who introduced it asked us, what do the three counties think? And so
We send it back on what we think.
So we send it back and we're talking about it, right? I have no problem with that.
yeah.
We send back what we
want to make
think.
sure you guys understand that. That
Well,
we
Thank
are not
you.
the body in charge of this, that
That's what
downstate
bothers
is.
me.
I
Just
think,
one-
I think what I would just like,
This would just be a resolution in support, and that's it. I mean.
It's not accepting
Right.
bill.
It's
Right.
essentially.
I just want to make sure everyone understands.
the
But I've
Well-
heard Jeremy say is if that motion passes, your position on the issue.
And just so we're aware,
Yeah,
this
but-
money does not go to sidewalks, roads, or bridges. It goes to the overhead of NERC, correct? And how many employees do you have?
It goes to 20.
You
And
have 20, and this goes to the overhead, not to building roads.
it doesn't just, it goes to partly to overhead because it matches, but it receives back to 80% federal funds. So it is the operating fund that NERC uses to operate under. So to some degree, that is correct. But it's also the source of unrestricted, unconstrained funds that we use to do a host of other activities that, just like you, we need a source of funds to be able to pursue those. So it's not just overhead. But it receives back a multiplier of 4 times the amount that's going into it.
If you hire more.
The work that the people at NERC do is what facilitates the ability of accessing the additional.
No, I understand that.
Correct.
So if we give $2.50, are we gonna get more federal money? I mean, if we gave you $2.50 and we had 100 people in there, we.
It unlocks the potential, correct?
Very likely, yeah.
Does it?
So what happens is we use those funds to do any number of studies. We did I mentioned this example earlier, regional corridor study, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago or something like that, looking at all north-south and east-west connections across all 3 counties. Like if you look at it as one big grid, what's the biggest bang for creating those road segments? And that's proved, just as one example, a host of benefits for projects that then source that study to be able to then justify improvements that they felt were needed by using that as the basis for additional grant funding. So pretty much, I mean, I don't want to overstate things, but pretty much everything we do, I don't know that I am overstating it, has a multiplier back of what comes back to the region. Because even those studies provide the foundation for then additional grants and additional opportunities. So everything works towards that purpose. There's nothing that we do that just sort of spins on its own. It all justifies projects that Porter County wants to pursue.
I think if I just to comment on what Attorney Hollenbeck said, from what I gather is that you were commissioned to see what this body thought of this. It wasn't approve the bill, it wasn't to have the authority to amend the bill, or, you know, ultimate control down the road, just what we thought. So I know you don't have a crystal ball, but it sounds like whether or not we, you know, this bill has a very good chance of passing as is, you know, downstate. I mean, the way it's written now, there's not, without any amendments, And I know we have a motion and a second, but I guess just to kind of share with the council, Councilman Rivas mentioned that, what was the motion that requesting,
Spread it out over 5 years on a 6-year.
mean-
90-some.
what if we, if we were to do a resolution, approved it, I think we all support what NERC does, but have a wording of maybe, we could say recommended, the thoughts, we could share our thoughts downstate that, but I don't know if we can request it and then,
I don't know why we can't request it. I mean, they haven't moved the bill. They haven't moved the bill because we haven't given our support. I mean, I think we have a voice here, so we should use it. And to me, that voice
I
is,
think they're waiting, I don't know, I don't want to speak, I don't know if they're waiting to see what we do, but it's not like the bill's going to move forward.
The bill was not moved because we didn't have all three counties with an opinion yet.
An opinion.
And when you're dealing with the short session of the legislature, there isn't a lot of time. That doesn't mean that it can't find a means to be pursued. As Ty alluded to, it can be attached
I can write it.
to another bill.
And I was told Lake County's doing the same thing, coming up with that 5-year
Be an amendment.
look at, because they don't have the 400,000 to put into it right away.
Well, we have a motion and a second.
Motion is second to approve the resolution with our position that the bill is amended to spread it out over 5 years, that increase, the inflationary component, but I think that that inflationary component isn't forever, that this has to be revisited in 5 years.
You're adding.
Back in 5 years.
Yes,
Yep.
we're adding that.
So, so that's the motion now?
Yep.
Do we need another second, or was that?
No, that was the motion, just restated.
Yeah,
Yep.
you stated the motion.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion for roll call?
Well, I just want to again say that we're putting it into the hands of our legislators who have just remember, we did try we had no voice in the RDA. And that was written by our legislators. And now we're being asked to give and I appreciate that they're asking, that they're allowing us to voice our opinion. But I don't have much trust in what they write down there. And this is a good thing. Like I said, it creates jobs, it keeps our people working. It is a wonderful thing. I just wish that you would have come before us and say, we need more money. You said it is a legislative thing, though. I can understand that.
Not to interrupt you, this is the mechanism, right?
Yeah, I just don't have enough faith in it.
I mean, we give $3.5 million to the RDA every year. Maybe they can,
We'll get to that in a little bit. Why not?
might as well get to that one too. Maybe they can pay the bill for the year.
It's just like saying, here you go, write what you want. I'm not gonna do it. But I'm just one person.
Well, we have a motion for a resolution to be written as articulated by Councilman Rivas. We have a second. Any other discussion before anybody else? Do roll call, please.
Stone,
Yes.
Sims,
Is it?
Yes.
Graham,
No,
Yes, meaning I support Jeremy's.
Vasquez,
Yes, I support Jeremy's resolution.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner.
No.
So you got your resolution.
Was there confusion on the vote?
No.
Nope.
Or did
I
you,
just want to make sure that okay.
Oh, we got,
Supporting Jeremy.
everybody voted the way they wanted?
Yep.
I was wanting to make, right, no, I know that, just like
Yeas were. in
just like that
support
resolution doesn't
of
mean-
Gave him
the
a-
Resolution.
just like that resolution.
So Ty, I'll work with our
Great.
secretary and get the resolution to you and with some language of the motion that we passed. I'll work with Andy to make certain that, what we're requesting to maintain our support.
Great, thank you, Mr. Rivas.
Yeah, basically all we're asking for is having a voice, okay? We're willing to work however we can, but let's have a voice, okay?
Absolutely. And if I could just take one minute, honestly, talking to, getting to know some of you has been really, really good. I just want to offer again, if you have a representative at the NERC Commission, which is now Mr. Vasquez, but if you ever want me, you don't have to wait till 5 years, is basically what I'm saying. If you ever want NERC to come and give any kind of presentation or check in or anything at all about processes, I'm always happy to do that. So I don't expect to wait till 5 years to come back here again.
If you can give me a monthly update on Willow Creek Road, that'd be great.
Have some staff that could
They're
talk.
going to be very busy building stations and hotels.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you all very much.
rest assured that anytime something like this comes up, everybody here was going to know it from me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Say hi to the Opera House.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, now we're gonna get into, I was just gonna, if the rest of the council doesn't have any objection, we have numerous, some additionals here, and a lot of this, from my understanding, is from cleaning up from last year's budget, just to kind of get everything where it needs to be for 2024. So there really isn't much, any effect on,
You're the president.
increase.
You tell us what you want.
Well, I was just gonna ask the council if it's okay, we don't have to, I wasn't gonna have every department have to come up here. I
Yes.
think we can go through some of these and kind of start, if we have a question, if somebody from the council has a question, one of the department heads, then yeah, they can have come up, but I don't think we have to have everybody come up here and
That's good.
go through all these.
Mike, I think that's fine. If there's a question, they can come up and.
Yeah,
No, the general understanding is that there was just, these were all not advertised. That's all. So this is just kind of cleaning up something from budget session, the advertisement amount, so that's all. So just kind of a,
kind of a formality.
mechanical
Started, so.
move here.
Might be kind of lengthy, but maybe we can get through these. So if we're all in agreement with that, the first category, the Commissioners, Community Capital Development Fund additional. Can we just
Well,
vote these?
yeah.
We do it one.
Madam Auditor, is there a
time, or
way,
Can we do them, I'm sorry?
I was gonna say, is there a way she wants us to do this?
Yeah.
No, I mean, let us know and we'll fly through it. Can I just make a motion to approve them all?
Get for those if you want to, or you can do them individually. I don't think it makes a difference one way or the other legally. If you want to do them in the aggregate, just this class.
Like
of-
commissioners or
Yes.
period
Do the
report.
commissioners
You could do
group?
the commissioners and then,
Okay.
is that
But
okay?
that's my opinion. I don't want to step on.
Do the by departments,
By departments?
right.
Okay. All right, that'll work. Does anybody have any questions for the Commissioners? See none. We have, as you can read, these additional 220,000 to motor vehicles, additional 32,600.
Motion to approve.
Second,
All those,
it's gonna be roll call?
gotta do a roll call.
Gotta do roll call?
Do we have to,
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Yes.
6-0.
okay, motion passed on that. Next category is Superior Court number 2. We just have one additional here, 14,200.
Motion to,
Mi- Second,
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Stone,
yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
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 6-0.
Next column, Circuit Court. We have here another additional 9,090 to salary.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Motion and a second.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Reichner,
Yes.
Stone,
yes.
0.
This looks like something different, Mr. President. Is this?
Circle back to this, to the treasurer's category.
Yeah.
Yes.
That way we can, it's consistent. So we can-
Yep.
Do that, okay. Let's move on to clerk. Additional 24,808 to salary.
Motion
Make
to
a
approve.
second,
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Yes.
No, he's not here. Sorry. Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Reichner,
Yes.
Stone,
yes.
Graham.
Yes.
6-0.
Coroner, additional 1,100 to equipment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Brickner,
Yes?
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
6-0.
Porter County Expo, we have two here. First one, 8,024 to salaries. The next category, 175,000 to building and.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
No, just to help.
0.
You recorder, additional 54,646 to salaries.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second.
And we also have 500.
Oh, yes, 500.
Sorry.
Border
I apologize.
Okay.
My motion is to include both those, Mr. President.
Second agree.
4,000 and the
Motion
500,000.
second on both of them.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims, 6-0.
I didn't say anything.
I
I was gonna say no.
Oh, yeah.
Hold this up.
Yeah.
Turn the mic off, Joy.
We have additionals for animal shelter. The first one is 1,263 to salaries. The second one is $694 to salaries. I think the third one, was that removed?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to pass the first two.
Second.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
0.
I do think though the 50,000 to vet services is still on the
Correct.
agenda. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we need to vote on that as well then.
I make a motion, Mike. Mr. President.
A motion for the 50,000, the one that was taken off is a 58,656. But still we need to vote on is the 50,000 under animal shelter donation fund to vet service.
Second, if there wasn't
We
one.
have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes,
Stone,
Yes.
6-0.
thank you. Adult probation, we have a reduction on this one. Reduction of 39,601 from salaries.
Mr. President, do you want to circle back to these?
Want to go back to this one to keep it in the same category?
Right.
Let's do that.
Easier that way.
That's fine.
The whole adult probation, correct? All of them?
Okay,
Right.
so we'll skip ahead to recycling.
Yep.
Recycling, additional 13,000 to office equipment.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Vasquez,
$100.
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner, 6-0.
Yes. Next category,
This is fine, right?
yeah, we're good.
Did you get that? Okay, just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Health Department. Health Department, all additionals. I'm just gonna first category, you can see the list there. I don't think we'd have to go through all those. Additional bioterrorism grant fund, 44,568 to contractual. Additional COVID workforce grant fund, 70,681 to contractual. And then the tobacco grant fund, 24,484 to hourly, plus there's a 1,925 to FICA. The first category is all additionals as well.
Motion approved.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second for the health department.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
0.
Okay.
Killing me.
Highway Department, and we have additionals here. 2,100,000 to bituminous, 150,000 to hourly, 23,886 to FICA, 208,292 to medical life, 34,970 to perf.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Second.
Motion a second.
Rivas,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
Carroll.
Okay, thank you. Now, juvenile detention. Looks like we have the same,
Sort of a hybrid, I guess.
yeah, you want to hit the additionals first? We'll do that?
The additionals that fall into that category, and then we can
Okay. Juvenile detention, we have an additional 73,588 to salaries. And we're gonna move down to, an additional $626 to perf.
Wow. Yeah.
President,
Yeah,
given that this is sort of a hybrid request for the juvenile detention center, it might be easier to go off
Skip this.
script and go through each of these individually. Because it's a mix of the bringing the advertised amount into compliance with what was passed, but also something additional. So if we want to do these, my suggestion would be to just go through these as we normally would, just
okay,
fund by fund.
let's do that then. The 73,588 then to salaries. DC just says amount passed at the budget set exceeded the advertised. Is that, you want to read through this, Carol?
You want them to start at the JDC codes at the top, right?
And were these new
Like we're gonna do it.
positions?
And we have to,
We okay them and.
I think we should just go by fund.
Not yet, we can do.
If we start with the juvenile detention general fund, the additional,
Yeah.
for the reason that we talked about, plus there's an appropriation needed due to the assistant director retiring, and then the Form 144.
$30 per hour. Okay,
That-
is that right?
I
Okay,
believe that's correct, yes.
up to $30 per hour detention officer, increase hourly for detention officer up from 25 per hour to $30 per hour.
So,
We need our director, Ms. Cox, to come up, and any questions for her on this?
well, is this something that we addressed at the budget time, or is this something that just came up with somebody retiring?
It's fixing the salaries from last year, but it's also doing an additional because our assistant director is retiring, and so the people that are moving up and being promoted are going to be making a little bit more. So it's a hybrid.
And
And then the $30 an hour, I just wanted to raise my hourly to up to $30 an hour so I could actually hire
so
people.
this money
I'm not able to hire people.
coming from our budget, it's an additional from
Correct.
our general fund.
61,118 is the advertised amount that should have been in there. And then I need an additional 12,470 for the promotions. And I'm also offsetting a lot of their salaries in regards to my codes fund. So it's not as big of a hit to the general fund.
So you're asking for, we're doing the first paragraph. These,
Your total reduction, Allison, is 15,952, though, is that correct?
From codes, yes.
Yeah, so there's gonna be, it's actually a reduction, I think.
In my codes, not my general fund.
it is going to be a reduction.
It's a reduction in codes, not general fund. It's an additional.
Okay,
We're just looking at the general fund right now,
right.
just to keep things simple.
What's the additional to the general fund then, besides what we're doing here?
12,470.
12,470? Oh boy, Mike. If this gets approved, you're off to one hell of a start, the general fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're, that amount anywhere.
That's right, where's it?
Where's that?
73,588 completely. And that's two things. That is to correct the salaries
From last year.
approved
Right.
and the additional that I need. So it's
You-
61,118 that was already approved, and that's what I definitely need for sure. The 12,470, that's what I need in addition, because I have two people that are being promoted who have longevity with us, and I have to pay them a certain amount because they're also probation officers, and so I'm sort of stuck with those salaries. So, and then my former assistant director was not a probation officer because it wasn't mandated back then. Now with her that job description, it is. So it is a increase. So I have 2 people that are starting that are POs, and we have to pay them accordingly.
Why don't we handle the 61,018?
Separate?
And, well, and just get rid of that so we can deal with these new people and these new increases.
Increases you have to do no matter what.
Sorry?
You have to do the increases no matter what.
Mandated, right? 'Cause yeah, it's already there. And this was unforeseen from,
Well, I mean, I knew she was going to be retiring, but I mean, I wasn't exactly sure who was going to go into those positions until we were able to do that.
okay, so now we have, this is something you have to do.
I have to do
Yeah,
that.
I mean, this is within your salary, budget
Yes.
ordinance, okay.
Mike, I think Warren has something to explain, so I understand here.
So in your juvenile probation,
Juvenile detention.
yes, but juvenile probation, is that why it's also going down adversely so much?
Yes.
That's
It's an offset
It's sort of like an offset. So,
between 2 different departments.
so like, yeah, Chris is here with me too. So, yeah. See.
So I'm about to go, and we're gonna ask for, we're gonna have a reduction of some, I think it's $34,000 that I'm gonna be giving back to general fund. We had some employee shift at the end of the year and just starting with this new pay period, or for the new year. And so some of, Allison had some individuals leaving, some of my probation officers accepted supervisory positions in detention, so that's why hers is going up. I was able to then hire individuals at a lower salary scale, and so I'm actually gonna be able to give money back, so it kind of
Right.
offsets each other a little bit.
For example, like one of his people is going to be now my detention manager. And by doing that over to me, it's going to increase my budget a little bit, but it's reducing his by 24,000.
Well, if you look on the next
So-
page, juvenile probation has 2 reductions in the general fund. They have a reduction of 35,480 and 27,000.
Right.
And an additional 6,867.
so between the probation and the detention,
Detention.
we're really only adding 4,000 to the general.
Okay.
Wow.
That's still too much, isn't it? So
No.
We try. We try, guys. We're trying.
We're kind of intermediate, so.
We're trying.
4 complex paragraphs to this, that Ryan
Yes.
said in
I
6
think that's
words.
kind of the bottom line is, we're adding 4.
Bottom line,
We're down to 4,000.
1,000.
You're right, Sylvia. Thank you.
it would have been better if you guys just.
To make you smile.
Beginning.
What I was,
Well, it's hard because our department, we work so closely together and share budgets and everything, so it's hard just to talk about like me and for him to talk about just about him. So yeah.
so what's that number then, 4,000 what?
The difference?
No, the addition to the general fund after all this is said and done?
Good question.
So it's an addition of 3,626.
3,626 even?
Sounds a little better.
Yeah, under 4,000.
Okay. So I think that's kind of our main concerns. You're gonna reorganize how you're gonna do that, that's up to you, so. Okay, so we have this dollar amount, when this, put all this puzzle together, a total of $3,626 additional to the general fund when it's all said and done, correct?
For just salaries.
For salaries.
Because they're apples and oranges, I mean, we can't vote on it as a whole. They have to be voted on separately, though.
That's what I'm,
Correct.
well, at least we have an idea, we have an idea what the bottom line is.
Yes.
I wasn't,
It makes it easier to vote.
I was like, where are those numbers? So, Harold, should we take one paragraph at a time? And
Juvenile detention for an additional 63,742 and additional 9,846, which you said was 73,580. That would probably be the first motion that should be addressed.
Correct.
okay. Would you like to make a,
Auditor, I have it on the agenda, and maybe Joey, you can clarify, the additional for the juvenile detention general fund as being
Sorry, I added
73,588.
those two figures together.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 12,
Those
Right.
Okay.
together.
Together.
the 12,470.
That's separated.
Individually, but then gave you the total.
Right.
Make sure that we are all on the same page.
yeah, 'cause that's what's confusing as well, but, all right.
So we need a motion on that, in terms of the juvenile detention general fund, the additional in the Form 144. Or we can vote on the additional first and then the 144 subsequent to that.
Yeah, what Harold said.
Do, yeah,
That's a motion for what Harold said? Yeah.
Harold's making motion.
vote on the additional first and then do the 144 second.
Run the,
Yeah.
okay. We have that motion?
Yeah, Jeremy just did.
And I'll sec,
We have a motion.
You did?
Second.
You did?
wow.
Thought I,
He doesn't remember.
61,018, is that what we're,
No, 73.
73.
580.
okay,
588.
okay. Somehow I add that 60.
All right, I think we got it.
Do you have a motion?
I'm sorry?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Rivas,
No. I don't know what just happened.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
5-1, because Jeremy voted.
This was confusing. Yes, maybe it's
Allison
just.
B. Better be
Using.
All right, now, we're moving right along to, what do we got next here?
JC codes.
For warrant 44, okay.
Form to the 30 an hour.
$30 an hour, a reduction,
No.
okay. Any discussion?
Is this mandated to do?
What?
We have to, the $5 increase per hour?
No.
I'm not asking for hourly increase in a line item. I'm just asking for me to be able to pay somebody up to $30 an hour, because right now, I can't find people to work.
Okay.
I mean, nobody wants to work at a detention center for what we're paying. So if I could raise that, that would be really helpful. But I'm not asking for a bottom line hourly increase.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
Will your line item, will your hourly line item support that increase?
Yeah, I have, I think 175,000 under my code.
Motion to approve the increase from 20.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Graham,
44.
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Oh. Jeremy.
Went from Rivas to Jeremy. It might be getting serious over here.
All right. Now we're moving to the additional
That mask back up.
$626 to perf, is that correct? Make sure
Well,
I'll
there's one
follow.
above it also,
A reduction.
Right, for 15,952.
5840. Just
Where?
their codes,
Where?
5840.
Do you see it?
Uh-uh.
That number?
Yeah.
I have,
Madam Auditor, for JDC codes, a reduction of 15,902, and an additional of 626 to perf. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. That's what's on
Yes.
our agenda.
Isn't that, oh, I don't know, just so you know.
these days. So are we just doing the reduction also, or are we just doing the addition? 626.
we do both?
Yeah.
Do both.
Yeah, we'll do both at the same time
If we have a
if we can.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second to do both.
Sims,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay.
Okay.
Now, Chris, we're moving to juvenile probation now? Yep.
Mr. President, we
We're-
still have the Form
Are we still-
44 for the GBC codes,
Okay.
and then we'll be finished with juvenile.
Juvenile detent, thank goodness. All right, we have Form 144. Any questions for Allison while she's here on this?
So you're reducing their,
This was, my original budget that was submitted had all this in there. And then with some of the changes with the 3%, with the midpoint, it didn't get fixed correctly when it was turned in. So this was on here. So I pointed out the discrepancies of what I had turned in originally, and this is what it is.
So,
This will get everybody to the correct salaries in regards to the pay between the salaries in our general fund and the codes fund, because I had people coming out of both.
does the auditor agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
we're looking at something right now.
Okay.
so with the state mandated one, yes.
so this is all good?
These are all right.
Yes.
Okay. We need a motion for
I make-
Form 144?
Yeah, make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. Are we done with juvenile detention?
Yes, moving on.
Thank goodness, right?
You're welcome.
Oh, you guys.
We got-
Chris doesn't get to leave, though.
Moving right along to juvenile probation. What we have here is like a reduction needed in the general fund to reduce the amount. Okay, so then on Form 144, should we do the reduction first?
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
We have a motion and a second
On a reduction.
on the reduction.
Right.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay, that passes. Then we have a Form 144, 75,213 to 68,346, 68,694 being reduced to 41,076, correct?
Correct.
Mr. President, I make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second for Form 144.
Rivas,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes. And lastly, we have an additional 9,285 to salaries. To bring us up to par, right?
Right, correct. That's one of the advertising issues,
Okay.
so.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
We have a motion, a second for this additional.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Okay, thank you very much. Now we move to the prosecutor.
Sylvia.
Looks like we have a reduction from the general fund.
Make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the reduction. Roll call?
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes,
6-0.
thank you. Then we have an additional $20,000 to office supplies and then $20,000 to legal.
Make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
We have another additional domestic violence grant fund, $3,719 of salaries.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion a second.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
0.
And last one we have here is an additional $9,999 to salaries.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. Thank you on that. Next category, we have the Porter County Substance Use. What do we have here?
This is not one.
This is a little bit different, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. We have an additional Drug-Free Communities Fund, $170,000 to distributions.
Motion approved.
Second.
That's our grant.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions for Dawn?
No.
Any discussion? Nope. See none?
Brickner.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
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 Killing me.
Trying to catch me on that one, huh, Graham?
Okay. We can go ahead and tackle this one. I think this is the, yep.
This is sort of hybrid as well.
Commissioners?
The sheriff, Commissioner Sheriff.
Sheriff opioid.
Get money
Yep.
for the, under the opioid restricted fund, commissioners and sheriff category, we have additionals for $60,000 of salaries. And underneath that, $4,590 FICA, $19,551 for medical life, $10,720 for perf. And I believe this is for the social worker, the additional
Right.
social worker. Okay,
I make a motion, Mr. President, we approve.
Second.
we have a motion and a second.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
6-0.
And then we have a Form 144, this is 0 to 60,000 for a police resource and outreach associate appropriation needed to cover the cost of a no social worker with a focus on substance dependency prevention and recovery.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. This is for the same social.
Yeah. I think we just.
Form 144?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a motion. Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
6-0.
Motion passed. Congratulations on, you have somebody in mind? Yeah, good. Excellent.
Yeah. Sam. Yeah.
Next category for the sheriff, I think these are, fall under the category of, let me see,
Yep. First two do.
yeah, except for the donation funds, we can
This first two.
do the first two now. These are additionals, bring everything up to speed for 2024. Action Report Fund, additional $6,365 to per diem, $4,750 to software, $12,460 to dues and subscriptions, and then we can do both these at the same time. Additional under Sheriff County User Fees Fund, $17,507 to salaries, $9,785 to per diem, $2,757 to soft.
Mr. Motion, I make, Mr. President.
Second. Second.
Mr. Motion.
We have a motion and a second on these two additionals.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
6-0.
Motion.
Okay. Next one's a little bit different. It's an additional, from the Sheriff Donation Fund, $2,000 to meals and lodging. Appropriations needed to cover costs of meals to the wellness team for community outreach. Then we have additional, we do both of these. This is for the K-9. Additional $20,000 to Patrol Canine appropriation needed to cover cost of a therapy dog not paid in 2023 and replacing a canine.
I hate to ask it, but how much is in that sheriff donation fund? Please. I just want to make sure they got enough money.
$35,463.08.
Thank you. So they got enough, but it doesn't leave them too much, but he's asking for it. You got a motion? No. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
6-0.
Okay, thank you. Let me see.
I think this one would have been another.
Are we back to the additionals for the, yep, looks like it, the next three categories. for
Videotape.
additional, all the same?
Videotape.
Okay, videotape fund additional 4,000, can we vote on all the three of these at once? It's-
As long as,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
specify
Okay.
which accounts they're
Yep.
going to.
Videotape fee fund, additional 4,000 to training and equipment. Photo duplicates fund, additional 3,800 to training and equipment. And then on the next page, this is.
Oh, that's it? That's
That's it.
it. Okay, that's
Approved
jail.
too.
second.
We have a motion and a second.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
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 6.
Okay, now we are in the category of the jail. Let me see, the first additional, looks like it is kind of getting everything ready for 2024, so we can vote on this. This additional $72,070 in the lease payments.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Rivas.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
6-0.
The next category, inmate processing fee, additional 4,000 per diem. Appropriation needed to cover per diem for adding field training officers due to the large number of new recruits.
That's good. Yeah, it's good. Oh, I make a motion.
Second.
Well, it's nice to see that I mean, usually we hear we can't find anybody. Now we've got
Right.
enough people.
That motion on the 4,000?
Yes.
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 Do we have a motion? Do we have
And a second. Yes.
motion and a second? Roll call, please.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. Next, under inmate processing fee, another additional $35,000 to uniform and clothing. Appropriation needed to cover the cost of outfitting the new SRT with proper uniforms.
What's an SRT?
Service resource, isn't it?
Special response team.
Special response team?
Special response team,
Okay.
they'll need much cell extraction and stuff like that. Moving into walls are going in there, equipment, elbow pads, helmets, sheets. Protective equipment for the workers.
Yeah. I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Brickner.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
6-0.
And lastly, for the jail community corrections pretrial fund, these additionals are again to bring everything up to speed for this year. $661 of salaries, $51 of.
Mr. President, I think that,
We have one change to
Oh.
PERF,
Okay,
listed as $5,538. It only needs to be $75 additional.
Oh, I'd like to make a motion.
okay. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
And is that motion and second on all of the additionals for the jail community corrections pretrial fund?
Yes.
In light of the amendment for, to reduce it to 75 for the perf?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Good?
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. We have Portage Township Assessor. And what we have here to reduce the amount.
Jeremy, is this what you and Andy worked on? Andy Bozak redoing this
Correct.
during budget, and then you guys kind of reworked the positions, I think?
Yeah, I just talked to Andy a couple times about it.
Okay.
Andy mostly communicated with the assessor, Crystal. But, I mean, the seat's been empty for a while. Maybe we should warm it up.
So,
No takers.
we move forward, we want to just move forward then with the reduction. Is this on the assessor's general fund, a reduction of $2,930 from salaries? Reduction needed in the general fund to reduce the amount that was advertised in the 2024 budget.
I'll make a motion, Mr.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second for this reduction.
Right.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
6-0.
And moving on, we have a Form 144.
Reduction reflects all these 144 changes.
So there's a reduction, they're just moving some of these,
Yeah, so-
redefining these positions?
Yeah, so her chief deputy retired in the middle of the budget cycle. And so they kind of restructured afterwards. And so between Andy, Jeremy, and myself and Crystal, we kind of figured out what that would be. And so that's what this restructuring looks like.
And the initial title on there is reflective of what our county assessor, right? That was what we wanted to do, and it's kind of just a hyphen of, what you were looking at. So,
Correct.
so we know, so there wasn't confusion down the road with the different assessor retitling.
Yep.
So,
Matches the county assessor as well.
Okay,
Are you looking for a motion?
I think
I'll
so.
make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion and a second on Form 144.
Why didn't you second it? You worked on it.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
trying to get people to
Yes.
sit in the seat again.
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay, thank you. Okay. E911. Let's see, looks like. Form 144. Looks like we're bringing this up to date, correct? If we,
These three probationary spots were missed on the 3%, so this is bringing them to the 3% because they were missed.
okay,
Yep.
all right, thank you. So we just need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for Form 144.
Are you talking the first one or all of them?
Can we do them all at once or do
Do separate.
separate? We'll separate them then.
I make a motion that we approve 47,785 to 49,219.
Second.
A motion, second.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
I make a motion, we go from 48,452 to 49,906 probationary tier 1.
Second.
Motion and second?
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
6-0.
And then probationary tier two, we're going from $49,119 to $50,593.
Second.
Motion is second.
Sims.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
6-0.
And there's a reduction.
Got one more there.
Yeah, the idea.
There's a reduction from $250 to a $40 stipend per pay period.
Pick a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion. We have a second?
Second.
Second. Motion is second.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, all right. Takes care of 911 and development stormwater management. I guess we could cover the first additional. Looks like, again, this is cleaning up, additional $14,794 to hourly.
I make a motion, Mr. President?
Second.
Motion is second.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Brickner.
Yes.
6-0.
Next, we have a Form 144. Matches the Highway Department. So 144 up to $28.68 per hour for road foreman. The next one is up to $27.32 per hour for assistant foreman. And 4 individuals up to $24.02 per hour for a driver. And then lastly, $24.02 per hour for a part-time summer intern. Amounts passed at budget session to be brought up to midpoint for hourly. This matches the Highway Department hourly full-time employees.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
That rate, is that,
Yeah.
we're all good there?
The highway was given the raise, and it was based on the Cume Bridge hourly, so
Okay.
this matches.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second.
Yep.
Brickner.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
6-0.
And it looks like the last additional out of the settlement fund for $1,005,374 to contractual services. Looks like this is just to,
Motion to approve.
Second.
motion and a second.
Rivas.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Yes. All right, thank you. Auditor, reduction.
You can say goodbye to Dave now.
I make that motion, Mr. President.
I third it.
Motion to table. I like Dave.
Karen, can we do all of these under one? Because it looks
There's
like,
two different, there's a couple different funds, so you'll need to do the reduction, then you could do the 1181s together. Those are the perp salaries and all that, but the 1,000 general fund is
The first two.
separate.
we can do the first two together? I'm sorry.
First one together. There's just the first one and then the other 3 together.
Okay. So let's start with the first one, the reduction out of the auditor general fund.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
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 6-0.
Okay.
Do the next 3 together.
Do the next three, okay? Auditor plat map, auditor homestead fund, and the debt services fund bond series. Do we have a motion for those three?
I think she meant to do
Can-
the.
Yeah.
I want to clarify, were you mentioning?
Oh, I'm sorry.
the-
You know what?
just
I know you probably didn't
flat
see it.
Yeah, I'm looking at,
manual?
You're looking at all that, yeah.
1181.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see, okay, let's start with the plat map. Okay, additional 52,193 salaries. 1,608 perf, 29,306 cents to medical life.
Make a motion, I second.
Motion a second.
Vasquez,
I'm very seldom called first. Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay, next additional, a homestead fund, 21,050 to salaries.
Make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion a second.
Rivas,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Sim,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
We have debt services fund addition, 2,011,814 the principal.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion a second.
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
6-0.
We have the forfeiture pass-through fund, 10,000 to distributions.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion a second.
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. We are down to our last foundation budget fund.
We have 3 of them under the 4922.
Okay. Additional 1,824,300 to medical life insurance. 1,940 to boards. 486,932 to contractual service.
I make a motion, Mr. President, we approve.
Second.
Motion a second on that.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
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 Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
6-0.
Still got back to treasurer.
Back.
Still have to go back to the treasurer
Oh, yeah.
on page 2,
And then adult probation.
and then adult probation as well, I believe.
Page, that's page 3.
Page, should be
Page
page.
Oh, treasurer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we're going back to treasurer, general fund, transfer of $50 from other supplies to office equipment. Need to purchase new credit card processing equipment.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion, a second, any discussion, any questions?
Sims,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Brickner,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
6-0.
Continuing with the treasurer, we have an additional $50,000 to contractual services, estimated fees to be paid to vendor for redeemed or sold tax sale property.
I make a motion, Mr. President, we approve.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes. Sorry.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Yes.
6-0.
Okay,
Now we're-
here the treasurer,
Adult probation.
Probation.
Page-
adult probation.
Yep.
Adult probation, adult probation general fund reduction, 39,601 from salaries.
Don't make her, nobody else has. She's coming.
Coming up, okay.
Nobody else has.
General
Come
fund,
on.
the amount that was advertised.
Yeah, not true.
Well, JD was up there.
That's true.
I'm here to serve.
Welcome.
Hi.
Again, reduction needed in the general fund to reduce the amount that was advertised for the 2024 budget, plus receive additional grant funding received from the 9164 adult probation pretrial grant for 2024. It's a pleasure of the council.
Well, so,
That's not till next month.
pardon? Did you say something?
New employees in the health fund.
I'm sorry?
The new employee she wants is in the health fund, not this one.
Any questions?
We just got a new grant in this, right?
So basically, the grant portion is that when the budget time comes around, we don't necessarily know what grant funding we're going to have. So we guesstimate based on the previous year. Actually got more grant money than we were expecting. So that's why you're seeing a reduction out of the general fund, which will then correspond to the additional that is down at the bottom of the page for the pretrial grant fund. So because we got more grant funding than we thought, we're increasing the use of the grant fund and therefore decreasing the use of the general fund.
And you think these grant funds are going to last? I mean, you know the old rule, if the grant runs out.
This is, we've had this grant funding since 2017.
Any special stipulations to it?
Yeah.
Grant?
Yeah.
So it's money that comes from the Indiana Office of Court Services to help offset the pretrial services, new division that the county has been using.
What do you think, Joe?
Yeah.
So it doesn't completely fund officers, but it helps to offset the cost of probation officers that are doing the pretrial supervision, as well as a jail officer who's now has additional responsibilities related to pretrial release.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I think we need a motion.
There's not a motion yet.
Oh, yeah, we need one? Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the reduction.
Okay. We have a motion?
I'll second it for further discussion. So these probation may I ask? The probation officers that we're talking of, they're on staff, right?
Correct. So their salary, everything related to their positions, that was actually approved in the last budget cycle. We're just making changes to where their salaries are being drawn from. More money is coming from the grant fund, less money from the county.
Correct.
Makes sense?
Any other, we have a motion. Do you second it, Sylvia? You-
I did for
Yeah, for
discussion.
discussion, yeah.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the reduction?
No.
Seeing none?
Brickner,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes,
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. Form 144. We have $16,457 to $15,160. Probation officer supervisor, $7,882 to $6,585. Probation officer, $10,905 to $9,608. Probation officer salary decreased a total of $3,891 to probation officer positions, retroactive to first pay period. Okay. This is a reduction of, can you explain this? What,
So that just corresponds to the reduction that.
first one?
The next two are all part of
all right.
what you're doing, right?
We need a motion for Form 144?
The user free trial.
Make a motion.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? No?
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
Yes.
Yes.
6-0.
She caught you in a drink.
Okay, adult probate user fees fund, a reduction $67,484 to salaries. The reason, reduction in the probation user fees fund to reduce the amount that was advertised for the 2024 budget. Any questions? Any discussion? No?
Still trying to.
We have a motion?
I'll make a, Mr. President.
We have a motion?
Yep.
How long is it gonna take? Come on. Why look at me?
Right now, we have a motion for the reduction.
I feel pretty shaky about this grant, how long they're gonna last.
Ah, they'll be fine. Have faith.
We have a second?
Yes, it was seconded.
Second. We have
Huh?
a motion and a second for the reduction. Roll call, please.
Stone.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Sims.
Yes.
Vasquez.
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Yes.
6-0.
Next, we have an additional $41,079 to salaries. Additional appropriation requested to hire an entry-level probation officer. This position will only be paid from 2001 probation user fees fund.
Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I just have, is this an additional person?
Yes. It's an additional person being funded out of the probation user fee fund, so it's not coming from the general fund. It's coming from the fund that was created where we collect fees from probationers. We deposit our fees into this fund, so we're asking to pay for a new officer from that fund.
This is
And off of memory.
Yes.
Sorry, and off of memory, it's like 190,000 in that fund right now? Or
Correct.
About 190?
At the start of the year, there was about 196,000 in that fund, yes.
Right, so this is good for
More than enough to cover it.
Or longer we'll be here?
But
maybe me.
So how long, what's your anticipation of this fund sustaining this person? What's your, because we're gonna get you on record, this will be like for life.
I suspect it'll be long-term.
So at some point, it will be absorbed by the general fund?
At this point, I don't see why that would need to be necessary. When you think about, we have an additional, currently, or at the beginning of the year, the budget, or that fund set at 196,000. When you think about the draw from it, we're going to continue collecting fees. So we're collecting fees in excess of what we're spending out of that fund. So that should be sustainable for a significant period of time. And that's our,
We got about 3 years worth of funding to.
and that's assuming
funding's
we
coming
don't
in.
take in.
So that's kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah, right. That's assuming we don't continue taking in those additional funds. If we didn't take in another dollar extra, then we would be able to sustain that for 3 years. But the assumption is we'll continue to take in funds, and that won't be an issue to cover that position.
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second.
I guess the only thing
Oh, I'm sorry about
the
that.
only thing I would share with the council is that there are some departments that have have this opportunity to be able to hire people out of their own funding. But there are other departments that, need to hire people as well, but don't have this type of funding.
Right. The only thing that we've always said across the board, if the grant can't
Sustain.
support it, then whoever they've hired, it has to go back to whatever. They've got to pay if it's grant funded, it has to be paid by. The general fund, in my opinion, shouldn't always have to pick up. Of course, if you say you're getting fees, that's wonderful. But,
And we've talked about this for quite a while.
Right, we talked about this at.
Why didn't you do it at budget session though, man?
that's exactly.
Oh my goodness, Jeremy.
Why?
It was.
Oh,
Our president at the time kind of said, hold off.
poo-pooed it? Oh, I
Goodness,
got it. I
cowering
got
down
it.
over here.
We needed lower the money.
He's the rich cousin.
Hi, Melanie.
So So are these paid out of the grand?
Oh, we have a motion and a second.
Insurance benefits and everything, 100%, or?
So, so we're talking about two different things, grant funding versus the probation user fund. So probation user fee fund, only the salary is paid out of that.
Only salary?
Correct.
So then we pick up the balance, the benefits and insurance and all that?
Well, we do that for a lot of other departments too. I mean, we do it for Memorial Opera House, we do it for Expo, we do it for a lot of them. So this wouldn't be just the only one.
Well, we have a motion, do we have a motion?
And we had a second, yep.
Okay.
Okay, Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas, Stone,
Yes.
Oh.
Rivas,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Ricker,
Yes.
Welcome to the front row.
Okay.
Not my.
We have the Form 144, and this is in relation to what we just voted on. We have a motion?
I make a motion, Mr. President.
Second,
Motion a second.
done this far.
Ricker,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Yes.
6-0.
All right, next we have the pretrial grant fund additional. 501 to salaries, 298 to FICA, 437 to PERF. Received pretrial grant funding for 2024 retroactive to pay period.
This is just
Total of 3,000.
to correct that.
So an increased total of 3,891, but it shows a reduction of 3,390 equaling additional of 501. Might sound right? I don't know.
Yeah, we're just adding
Yeah.
the 3,309, roughly, right? Not the exact amount, but
Any discussion on that? Any discussion on that? Any
Just for
question?
clarification purposes, we've already voted on the reduction
right.
of 9164
Yeah, we've voted.
previously, so I think we need to address the full amount in the, which would be the 3891 instead of like 500 or whatever.
That's what we need the motion on?
Yeah, the 3891.
The full amount, all right.
Right, yeah. There's a difference in the number. Is that what you're,
From the previous
Motion.
144 at the top,
Pardon?
from the previous 144 at the top, the item?
Corresponds.
Taking care of the reduction.
Right.
So now we're addressing 9164, which has 3 different amounts. And as far as the 144s, I think they were addressed already, except for the additionals for this one, and salaries.
So we just need a motion on the additionals, correct? Is that
Correct. The 3 additionals.
The 3 additionals.
Mr. President, I make a motion.
We have a motion,
Second?
we have a second for the 3 additionals. Roll call.
Sims,
Yes.
Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas,
yes.
Graham,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Ricker,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. Is that it?
With the 144s though, we have to
144.
increase those.
144?
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's see, 37,654 up to 38,951 for probation officer supervisor, 37,654 to, again, 38,951 probation officer. Well, the first one was supervisor, 37,654, 38,951 officer. Received pretrial grant funding for 2024, total increase of $3,891.
Motion to approve the 144 change is,
So probation supervisor and officer make the same?
No. So what you're seeing there is a portion of their salaries is paid through the grant. So that's what you're seeing there is just a
Okay.
portion of their salaries.
All right. So I didn't hear, do we have a motion and a second?
Yep, we had a motion, and a second.
Brickner,
Yes.
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 Vasquez,
Yes.
Rivas.
Yes.
Motion passed. We done? That it?
Sir.
I think that's it. Did we skip any more?
No, I think we're good. Second reading. No, I think we're good.
That didn't hurt too bad.
All right. Boy,
That was,
that was interesting.
It wasn't that rough.
that was rough.
Okay, we're at second reading now.
Yes, sir. The following items have been brought in front of you and considered duly and appropriately. The general fund, decrease of 92,848. Accident report fund per diem 6,365. Software 4,750. Dues and subscriptions 12,460. Clerk perpetuation fund salaries 24,808. Hume Bridge hourly 1,794, CCD motor vehicles 220,000, drug-free communities distributions 170,000, local public health fund salaries 233,350, hourly 58,240, FICA 17,622, medical life insurance 78,204, PERF 25,799. Office supplies, 12,500, uniforms and clothing, 2,000, other supplies, 15,000, medical dental supplies, 120,000, shop supplies, 5,000, legal, 25,000, travel, 10,000, phone and internet, 6,600, postage, 5,000, print, 7,000, advertising, 5,000, maintenance agreement, 75,000, vehicle repairs, 2,500, other rentals, 5,000, contractual, 7,500, office equipment over $100, 5,000, furniture over 100, 28,900, data processing equipment 15,000, 790, 550. Highway hourly full-time 150,000, FICA 23,806, medical life insurance 208,092, PERF 34,970, auditor plat map fund, salaries 52,193, PERF 1,608, medical life insurance 29,326.50, reporters perpetuation fund, salaries 54,646, rebinding books 500,000, tax sale fees, contractual 50,000, opioid restricted funds, salaries 1,000. FICA 4,590. Med life insurance 19,551. PERF 10,720. Auditors and eligible homestead funds salaries 21,050. Federal forfeiture fund office supplies 20,000. Legal 20,000. Juvenile probation fees salary 9,185. Adult probation user fees a decrease of 1,405. DCA DRF fund salaries 9,090. Sheriff user fees per diem 9,785, software 2,747, salary 17,507, Expo Center salaries 8,024, Expo Capital buildings and structures 175,000, animal shelter fees salary 694, garage fund structures 32,600, shelter donation vet services 50,000, sheriff donation fund meals and lodging 2,000, K9 20,000. Go bond series 2024 principal 2,000 or 2,111,814. Monsanto fund contractual 1,005,374. Public safety data tech lease payment 72,070. Videotape fee training and education 4,000. Photo duplicate fee 3,800. Inmate processing fund per diem 4,000. Uniforms and clothing 35,000. JDC codes, a decrease in salaries of 15,952, PERF 626. Foundation budget fund, medical life insurance, 1,824,300, actual 108,932. Boards, 1,940 for forfeiture pass-through distributions, 10,000. Coroner fatality equipment other than vehicles, 1,100. Domestic violence fund, 3,719 in salaries. Stop grant fund, salaries 9,999. Bioterrorism grant fund, contractual 44,568. Workforce Co-op Fund contractual 7,681, tobacco grant fund hourly 4,484, FICA 1,975, court interpreter grant fund, interpreter 14,200, adult probation DC fund, a decrease in salaries of 3,390, FICA 298, PERF 437, jail pre-CC trial salaries 661, FICA 51, medical life insurance 12,104, PERF increase of 75, R&B match grant fund by 2,100,000, recycling and waste office equipment other than over $100, 13,000. Second read.
I missed that second.
Okay, well, I'd rather.
Is that it?
What did the auditor say?
You guys didn't tag team this time. I thought I was waiting for,
I was on a roll.
I was waiting for the other guy.
There's no stopping me. You hit the prize.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for the second reading. Now we have come to any other matter that may come properly for the council. We have a 2024 council appointment for the RDA.
I'm sorry, Joy?
Mike, you gotta vote on second reading.
Got to vote on second reading.
Motion to approve
Oh,
second reading.
sorry.
Second.
Second it.
All in favor?
Nope, that one has to be roll call, right?
We have to do a roll call?
Yeah.
Stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 What do you think?
Jeremy, that is.
A lot that I don't understand happened. Yes.
Being approved. Now we can get into the 2024 council appointment for the RDA. And what
What was
is,
it last time?
what is this?
I thought Jeremy wanted to speak on the RDA. I don't know how that got on the agenda.
Is that you?
But we discussed it. Yeah, it's on there. I think we were gonna discuss it because we weren't sure when it was up.
It's up in August, I believe.
September, yeah, I've heard some different things. Harold, did you get any kind of clarification from your?
I looked at the statute and it does, because there was a question I know originally about why the appointment was up in September.
Right, mid-year.
January 1st. And I believe, just looking at the original enabling statute, that it was pulled from there because the original enabling statute for our appointment, joint appointment with the commissioners, was to be made by September 1st, 2005. So presumably that's where that September date came from. My only question though is, they're 4-year terms, and maybe I'm not.
I can answer that one.
Okay, that's it. Do you
So
know? Because why are we now at 2024 as opposed to not 2026?
He took over from Mr. Good, our current joint commissioner / council representative for RDA, took over in 15. His term ended in 16, so he started 16 to 20, now it'd be 20 to 24. So he took over an existing term for, I believe, Commissioner Good. So that's why, see, at first we thought it went from 15 to 19, 19 to 23, but then he had actually taken over.
Well,
that
and that's
position.
that.
But when did the term start? January or?
Well, it appears the term started originally in 2005 on September 1st of 2005.
Okay.
And the question that I had was, is if you take, and the terms are 4 years, and so if you walk that out, we'd be at, by my calculations, September 2026. And that was my only question about that was, and that may be exactly what Councilman Stone just said, is it will probably explain that. The only other question I had in looking at the statute was, when someone steps down from, for whatever reason, their appointment, they are to, and let me pull this up here, I just want to make sure I'm accurate. The new member should be appointed for the remainder of the vacant term. So it still should hit that every 4 years.
And it did, but I think, and again, I
I
wasn't on the council.
I wasn't either, yes.
I don't know if in 2020 if it ever got approved. I think it just rolled over. It might have been a miss site because when we start getting into this, I thought it was just 23 he was up, but then we found out it's actually, he's up in September of 2024, if that makes any sense. So he took over for good in 15. He finished out Good's term, which got him to 16, and then apparently he got approved by the council and the commissioner. And
Well, no, I mean, Joy, you got this today, right? Or, I'm not sure.
It's a spreadsheet.
The
from
spreadsheet,
The RDA.
and it says a note, our appointment, it's in red, and it says, do not have updated reappointment letter. So that was one of my questions too,
do we have to keep him on that term, or do we have an updated appointment letter?
well, when's it up? Yeah, I mean, if it's up this year, then I guess it really doesn't matter. We can start the process, but if it's up later, my question is, since we didn't give a reappointment letter and it's kind of just floating out there, can we make that appointment at any time still? We reserve the right to still make that appointment, even if it's,
It would be my opinion, just curbstone opinion as we sit here right now, without delving into it a little bit further, which I think would be a good idea for me to delve into it a little bit further, but is that we could. Because the statute's explicit that the appointments serve at the pleasure of the appointing authority, which suggests that if, the appointing authority can pull someone and re-nominate someone at their pleasure. My thought would be is, if there's some confusion, and clearly there is, and I don't know what the spreadsheet is you're but I can write a letter to the RDA and ask for specific clarification on why, how this term is staggered and
it would be nice to know when Jeff Good was initially appointed, what that term was. Then I think he was reappointed, but then he didn't fulfill that term.
I know, see how that makes sense now? That's how I got it.
But the statute says that, whoever we appointed to replace it only fulfills that term. That term doesn't start when he's, so I guess clarification on the exact term. When it's up, when that person's up, but then I guess the conversation needs to be, if it's out 2 years, do we want to exercise our
Not
right?
out 2 years, it's up this 2024 of August.
For certain?
For sure,
Yeah.
for certain. It's up in 2020.
Then I think we should start the process. I mean,
and it is a joint appointment.
yeah, correct. The RDA, our RDA appointment.
Who is it?
It's
Chris
Campbell, yeah. So that question, I mean, it's a good question, Sylvia, right? So,
I've had a lot of questions, Jeremy's had a lot of questions, I think there's been a lot of questions about the RDA. I mean, we give a lot of money to the RDA, and I think there's some of these TDD, transit development districts that are getting done in Portage, and I just saw 2 months ago, I think they approved Porter's. Michigan City, I think they go from Gary to Hammond, and there's a lot of things, we just need to be talked about.
it serves the TDDs, and I can be wrong, but they serve as like TIF districts essentially.
For the RDA.
And that money goes to the RDA. So any development that happens in these TDDs, that increment, above what the value of that land is, goes to the RDA for, approval. So I just think it's time that we had a voice over there, if that's truly the case. And Portage has, they have a lot of open land over there by that.
And one of their TIFs is actually in a TDD.
Yeah, they have a TIF within that TIF, so there's some questions that, yeah.
They have a TIF in a TDD, so they have to make an agreement with the RDA, possibly negotiate what Portage should be. So,
What's the person who's supposed to be responding to us in regards to all this information going out?
Well, our appointment is Chris Campbell. So not saying that he's a bad gentleman at all, a bad person at all, but I just, I think as we're having these regional conversations with NERC and the RDA, we pay the RDA $3.5 million a year. The taxpayers do.
Taxpayers.
Through their income tax, lit. And that, with all, and the development with the TDDs, I think it's a great idea, a great concept that, you know, it's traveling people from Chicago to South Bend with all the stops and, you know, the money that's being spent in the double track and it's not the south, that
Extension south up by
yeah,
Dyer.
the south extension that goes that way. There's a lot of money being spent, and I think we need to have a voice right now that's, you know, fighting for us, for
I
every.
want to make sure Porter has a voice and Portage has a voice.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, TDDs and how they got presented to the public, how they got, because I know they're supposed to be, the TDDs were 300 acres, it's supposed to be a half a mile around the transit district, or 300 acres, and they're supposed to be contiguous, all lands contiguous. And then I look at the Porter map, and it's not contiguous. So I just there's a lot of questions that I think we need to.
I was drawn out of my district, and it didn't have a contiguous, you know, little dot. They did that to me.
They just did like
Yeah,
this
it was
to
a
you.
little thing over
Got a
it.
better house.
So you want him to
Well, why can't we exert our, why can't we appoint somebody?
I think that we need to send an email or somebody talk to the commissioners and see if they're agreeable to put an advertisement out there that if August or September, we can just get an exact clarification that the person would start September 1st or August 1st, then we tell the commissioners, hey, are you guys agreeable to this date? This is what we believe, and let's advertise.
I think Joy had already advertised for the August,
Okay.
because we messed up the first time. We thought it was 2023. So we had August, we did August of 2024, which is the correct date. We've double and triple checked to make sure. We contacted the RDA, we contacted
All right.
back, Joy looked, and so that is the date is 2020.
So Harold, Harold or Mike, can you get with the commissioners and say if they're agreeable to, you know, that expiration date and that we should advertise now again jointly? And let's get some applications on.
It's on Facebook.
It is?
It's still up? Okay, well then we'll just keep it up then and see if the
A
commission.
little premature, but usually we do.
Yeah, it's all right.
Hey, the more the merrier, right?
I figured we'd post it again.
Yeah, we posted.
And it's gotta be a joint, so we've gotta agree, you know.
And we'll follow up on it.
And there's some rules, they have to have some qualifications.
Resident.
Right, Harold?
Yep, resident of Porter County, and there's a couple others, yeah.
They have to have some background.
5 years of experience in transit and other.
Yeah, I don't think.
It's a pretty broad.
Development, and some
Yeah,
different
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Anything else on the,
I don't think there's any more regional authorities out there right now, but, yeah.
Anybody?
They haven't asked for money.
Comment from the.
okay. Anything else on that? We are now to the public comment. Anybody would like to?
We got a couple.
Public comment.
Go on, public comment.
Please, state your name, please, and address.
No, that's not.
Hey guys, how you doing? Dawn Miller. Just have a question. The health department, $1,572,765. Where's all that money coming from? Is that from the Indiana Healthy First, the SB4? That is, this breakdown is what that's from.
I usually don't answer questions, public comment. I'll answer you after the
What?
meeting. I'll answer you after the meeting. Or-
Oh, okay.
So-
Can anybody else answer the question? Seriously?
It's the new fund.
In a public
Yeah.
comment, it's more a comment from the public versus the council members answering questions from the public, but.
Okay, well,
That's
that's
what
the
I think
first.
is
I mean,
Councilman-
normally you guys have responded in the past. So I mean, that's
Understand.
actually, I don't even recall you guys even going over this list.
We did that during budget.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
What's up?
Yeah, state your name and address, please.
Oh, you may go up here? Cool.
Yes, sir.
My name is Jake. I'm from the Portage Recovery Association. I know a few of you. And so, long story short, came here last year to the commissioner's office. I've given this spiel like 12 times in this room, so if you've heard it, I apologize. The commissioner's office awarded the PRA $10,000 to open up a recovery cafe, which we did so in September. The success of it has been I can't believe how much it's taken off actually over the last few weeks. So in September, we had pretty good numbers when we opened. October, November, December was pretty steady, but since the beginning of the year, we've had like almost 4 times the attendance that we were having previously. And we're actually getting some funds in for it. So basically, long story short, it's a place for any member of the recovering community, whether they're looking to get from alcoholism, addiction. Some people come in there that are suicidal. Some people just get dropped off there. It's a safe place to go for anyone that wants to shoot pool, watch the game, play darts. In the city of Portage, there's 63 different places to buy liquor. There's only 3 places to find sobriety. And our location is open almost 70 hours a week total between our cafe and our meeting times where people can come to. 70 hours a week doesn't seem like a lot, it is. And throughout the rest of the entire city, there's a total of 6 hours that are open. So basically, last year I had spoke with Commissioner Regnitz, and she had asked if there was any other additional funding that we needed. I said that there was for some potential staffing at the location. So they brought that matter to the Commissioner's office. It was approved at the Commissioner's office and then sent to the council. Stop me if I'm wrong. It was sent to the council in November, but it was rejected. I had gotten a call afterwards saying that it was rejected and that someone was supposed to reach out to me to come represent the organization that day. And I never got that call, so they apologized. So I'm just here to see if that matter could be reconsidered out of the opioid settlement fund. As far as the qualifications for that money, our organization qualifies for 4 out of the 5 qualifications. The city of Portage has already given us money from that same fund, so we are more than qualified for that. The money would go towards hiring members of the recovering community on a cash basis, then 1099 them at the end of the year to expand the hours of the cafe, because we do have an older audience also that doesn't come out at night, and they would like to see some daytime hours. And I think some of these people are retired, and I think everybody can use a few extra bucks. So that's what that money would go towards. We're really good at making money stretch. We're saving lives here. We have a dream, we have a vision, we have a mission, and I never turned down a live mic. So I do have all the good info about us too. If you have any questions, I can pass these out.
Just
Thank you,
as an
sir.
FYI, when you had came up and got rejected, it was a process issue for, I think, both the commissioners and the council. I believe they're rectified it with, I think they're supposed to have a committee set up to.
Correct.
Well, no, this was before the committee hasn't started yet, but remember when we approved the, we gave money?
No, I know,
Yeah.
there was 3 of them. Like I said, they weren't here, and
Correct.
all I said was, I have no problem to who we give it to, but I think we have to have a process in place. We just can't have people, council people getting contacted and saying, hey, we want to give 20,000, okay.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't, no disrespect to, you or your organization, but it's, matter of fact, I would say, it's a fault of ours.
I don't know, I just do what I'm
Government,
told.
yeah, no, I mean, government needs to have a process before we can hand money out, and that's on us. And when we get that process out, if he qualifies, then I have no problem with that at all.
Last page.
Yeah, so we are, like I said, we're a nonprofit. It's been around 31 years. I'm a member of the recovering community myself, almost 11 years sober, and this is stuff that you just don't have a place like we have, members of recovery. People come in, they're told, leave your old friends alone, don't go to the bars, but then what are we supposed to do? Like, we have the solution for that, so, everything helps. Everything helps. I mean, over 1 million people died of an overdose last year in this country. There is hope.
I feel for you, I had 2 brothers, so
Yeah.
there you go.
Any questions or anything I should do, or should I just keep showing up?
So how do we proceed for this gentleman in order for us to do something, not do something? What is our
It would have to go back on the agenda
Committee.
and for discussion. It'd have to be on the agenda. Again, I would assume, Harold, is that right? Yeah, he'd have to be,
And is there and I don't know the answer to this as I sit here right now, but for the opioid monies, is there I can't remember, a liaison member that, or someone that's.
Right here.
Yeah, so at the
So
commission, they were gonna create a committee with 1 commissioner, 2 council members, and then 2 citizens. That was the motion at the
Correct.
commissioners meeting earlier this month. when I followed up with them today to go to that meeting, I was told to come to tonight and state exactly what was going on. So
Which I think is the right answer, or the right approach. I think that what the next step for the Recovery Association is for you to meet with Greg Sims, Councilman Sims, and talk about getting that onto the agenda, because it has to be on the agenda and advertised and that sort of thing before anything can be done formally. That would be and then the
Right. I'll suggest to the president, it's up to him to write it down. But yeah, see, some of the confusion too was because the commissioners approved their money and we didn't address it, it's in a limbo right now. So I guess a couple things, either we put it on the agenda and address it, or we push it down the road waiting for the committee to be established and have them address it.
Do we call back the other person that we rejected too?
I think this was our only rejection, if I remember.
I think there was 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We have to look back at the minutes. Because I know we approved the.
Like I said,
Yeah.
Greg, you know my position on this. I've trust me, I support you 1,000%.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in county government, and like I said, this was, in my opinion, was our fault. And it was our fault. We're gonna get a committee put together, or we'll do something like that and come back. If you qualify, then, and you go in front of.
Well, I have a suggestion, rather than wait until you get a committee, put him on the agenda and get the committee in between.
On it, yeah.
Get a committee together.
So we gave you initial dollars, correct?
The commissioner's
Right.
office gave us 10,000 correct last year.
We-
Okay.
Yes, correct. I was here, I think it was like in May. And she had asked if they still had additional funding. So she had come back to me and asked another member of our organization, is there anything else you guys need? We had told her what we needed. She said, submit it. I sent an email. I just kept
See that, see,
told, you know what
just
I
so
mean?
you know, no, you did everything 100% correct. When someone tells you, I get it, but that in lies the problem right there. Somebody came to you, do you need anything? Oh, yeah, sure. And that's what we're trying to eliminate, is so we have a process that, you know, is fair for everybody. So one of us just don't, hey, you know, I got a buddy who wants it, you know, needs money. So
Well, I'm not
that's,
sure if it was exactly like that. It was just over some like BS and, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just, like talking and like, what do you guys need? And I just was transparent.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I don't blame
Be
you.
the
I would,
best thing. You know what I mean? I mean, it's completely volunteer based so far and it's working, you know what I mean? But it is tiring.
I don't blame you.
Needing trust in servants, you know what I mean? So,
So is there a committee now, Greg?
It's being established. Right.
And they're putting together like criteria of like,
Yeah, well,
I guess my question is, I mean, you know, and there are a lot of good organizations out there, and we have there's a lot of money available. And, is there like, how, and it's nothing against the organization, but can they keep coming back
well,
for more money? Because, you know,
I'm going to say yes and no. Here's what we're looking at is there'll be one commissioner, which will be Laura Blaney, and then 2 members of our council. And then, the thought, well, I had been on, but again, I guess we established it ourselves, but me, Jeremy's got an interest, Andy's got an interest, and the other Andy's got an interest. But we got to establish that, and then there's a couple members of our community that will be on it. So it'll be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And then we would meet to establish how we're to move forward from there. The odds are it's going to be recommendations based on what the group says in regards to reaching out to the community to give the needs back to that group, and then the group will shift through them and then present it to the council and the commissioners as recommendations to get, if that makes sense.
there's a process.
Correct. There would be kind of a, not super lengthy, but it'd be a process nonetheless. But yes, that's what so right now I guess what we need to do is figure out who from the council is going to be on this to move everything forward, so.
well, would I be able to ask the council to consider another alternative? Because like, so this all came up before the committee was basically formed. It's not even formed yet, but it was just like 3 weeks ago when I was at the commissioners meeting where they even talked about a committee. This was October and then November, from what I understand, the council meeting. So this is well over 60 days before a committee was discussed. And then I didn't want to come to the last one because it was you guys had a meeting, what, 3 weeks ago, was it?
Organization.
Organization.
I didn't want to I don't want to mess with that, so I just thought I'll wait, until after the holidays, and
How many
so I don't know if that's something, because if it's already been approved there and it was rejected here, is it able to
Yeah, two.
discuss again? If I get-
We've got a money left, though. We do.
Don't see why not.
Because from my understanding, the rejection was because
You'll
of
have to set-
was that what it was, or I'm confused?
No, I just said the rejection was because as a government, as a county,
How?
we did not have a proper process in place. We get money from the opioid recovery every year, and we've already gave a social worker and that's two social workers. Well, one's a
Correct.
substance abuse worker and one's a social worker.
Well,
One-
theoretically, they're both going to be social workers.
But one has to be directed towards the substance abuse.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Per the money.
Correct.
So that right there is about $200,000. Am I right? And what do we get a year?
About 120, 60.
It varies. So these are things that as a council, we have to talk about, 'cause it's not like, we just don't have a bunch of, we have to make sure that this committee understands, maybe there's $40,000 a year that can be divvied, or 50, or, whatever we need, and,
140.
well, again,
How close,
that's what we're trying to figure out here.
Sure, I understand.
how close are we to getting a committee? Because, like I said.
Oh, yeah,
could we
well-
Put him on the agenda, in the meantime, get the committee together, rather than, he's been here since.
I can tell you that we decide who's going to be on from the council. This committee will be established within a week and a half.
Okay.
And you'll have guidelines on who, what, where, when, and why.
Well, then we'll have a meeting and then determine at that meeting where we move forward. So I would imagine within a couple months, we should be ready to put something out there to say, this is how much is available for, well, here's the criteria to apply, and let's start. And then they would go through interviews and stuff and move from there.
So it may be, the council as a governmental body has to jump through certain hoops statutorily. And
I was just wiping my phone off.
this is gonna have to get on to the next agenda to vote on presumably the two council member appointments. So it may be, if you want to get it moving quickly, I mean, just a thought, you can put it on, request that it be put on the agenda for the next month.
Yes.
To vote on it, but I think if the council is going to have to vote on who's going to.
Yeah, why don't we take that step then,
I would-
is who's gonna sit on that committee, and just get the committee going, and that committee can then,
So you established it.
Well, I'd like to be on it, sure.
I wouldn't mind sitting on it.
So next agenda, we'll have who from the council would sit on the committee.
We can decide right now.
We can do it tonight and get this thing going.
No reason to
We
wait.
already know who the commissioner is.
Well, I have an interest.
Well,
Jeremy has an interest.
Greg has an interest, I
Yeah.
suppose we could.
Put names in a hat and pull.
But
What was the vote?
Brian's got it.
Commissioner's vote?
Ryan's got an interest too?
What was the commissioner's vote?
I'm sorry?
What was the commissioner's vote? What did they approve? I know it was,
Laura Blaney to be on the committee.
okay. And what was the specific discussion about the committee and the number of members?
That'd be 2 members of the community,
Okay,
2 council members, and 1 commissioner.
okay.
Well, for the sake of experiencing that, I'll withdraw my name if you two want to take it and run with it. I mean, let's give this gentleman some help.
Is this something we can do, that we should do tonight, or wait till,
It's not an additional, it's during public comment. I think we can to vote on a committee appointment.
Right.
I think it's appropriate.
I make a motion, we make Jeremy Rivas and Greg Sims on the committee for the opioid
I second,
committee.
if they're agreeable.
Be tough. Do I have to wear a mask?
Monies.
All those in favor?
It has to
That's
come
gonna
back
have to
to the
be-
council
Aye.
anyway.
Yes, it's
Has
gonna
to come
have to,
back
that's gonna formally have to get onto the agenda and get advertised.
I agree.
so right now, we have a motion for Councilman Sims and Councilman Rivas to be on this opioid distribution committee,
Yeah, whatever.
and,
I don't know if I'd call it that.
Oh, yeah, we're not.
Distribution committee. Whoa. But committee, yeah.
yeah, is that what I said?
Yes, the opioid committee that's supposed to establish some rules, but yeah, I think
Want to be?
Yeah, I
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
As Greg knows, I'm not, and this is no offense to you, sir, is I don't want to just run around and hand the money out without a little bit bigger of a plan in place, but I'm only one person.
Wise, I think it's good.
Yeah.
And that's,
So
like
you're
I
gonna-
said, all we're trying to do is
Yeah.
get a proper protocol in place, so when it comes to the council, we kind of all understand, okay, it's already been vetted, good, then,
Sure.
which makes sense, so.
So is this a,
I think,
like a aye, or is this a?
Yep.
All those,
All those
all,
in favor?
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, congratulations.
Now, we've got part of the.
All right, we got work to do.
So what do you want to do?
Full contact
I like that
by
guy.
Beth.
Best friends with them or what?
Well, he's got to be put on the agenda for next month, I think.
I think you just have to
It'll
wait
be a
for the committee to
longer,
be
a
performed. It's
longer
gonna be-
process.
Oh, we have
It's a
a,
longer process.
We're gonna have to wait.
This is government. It doesn't, nothing works quick in government.
Yeah, I know that they were
Yeah.
saying that the applications.
This is
were
government.
Tomorrow is what I was told at the commissioner's office, that all the citizens that wanted to put it in was only gonna be till the end of the month. I was told like 3 weeks ago, because she wanted me to join. I told her I didn't want to, because I thought it would be a conflict, or offered me to.
Smart thinking.
rather.
Smart thing, good
I
thinking.
was told it was a conflict of interest, like I want to create something here.
You want the money, not the,
No, I want
yeah.
look at the vision. That's what I want.
So do you know if we have people who have,
It's money.
to those? Did the commissioners tell you
I
that?
have no idea.
About money to-
Okay,
Yeah, she had asked if I wanted to fill out an application. I just thought it would be a conflict of interest.
right, okay.
You know what I mean?
So you need 2 civilians then, okay?
Okay.
Dave, what are you doing down there?
no. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you, appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
We have anybody else from the, anybody else who would like to speak?
Yeah.
Seeing none. Ready for adjournment? We have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Second?
Anybody?
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All's opposed? Adjourned. Thank you. You know what? Thank you very much. This was a